whenever you get married, your spouse becomes a mirror and you kind of see yourself in the other. And I didn't like what I saw and I blamed her for it. And so there was this struggle that I was working through. And I'm like, when she would, you know, promoted, or when she would excel, or when she was up on stage doing a thing, I had a hard time, not because I didn't think she was doing a good job. It wasn't me doing it. That was the problem. I didn't know who I was. And I had massive gaps in my identity. So that for me was a huge piece of it, is like, I can work with her because I know who I am.
But I started to look at the work as the source of my happiness, my affirmation. All my kudos were coming from the workplace. And so at home, when he was feeling jealous about my work and I was loyal to my work above him, I just became critical of him. Like, why can't you pull it together and just do the work? Jason is my friend and designed to be a partner for fun. It had just not occurred to me. I just really thought, oh, maybe it's not about so when we first started to work together, that's where so much of the tension was. And so to me, setting aside the work and beginning to really focus on friendship and fun and being together, because we fell in love for a reason.
Thriving in Tandem. It's a podcast for you, the married entrepreneur that wants to win in business and marriage at the same time.
Welcome to Thriving in Tandem.
All right, Thriving in Tandem family, welcome back to this week's episode.
Hi, you guys.
And we've got a great show for you today. We've got Jason and Elizabeth Settle out of Texas. And what's great is because they do counseling and consulting and coaching, a lot of marriage stuff, but also leadership and all that. And so one of the cool things is because they're also do a lot of marriage coaching and counseling as well. And I thought, well, and they work together. What better couple to have on this show?
Yeah, I'm so excited. They probably have it all together, and I can't wait to learn more.
Exactly. So Jason, Elizabeth, not to put any pressure on you, but welcome to the show.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, all together. You got it. We've got it all together.
We got a plaque in our office that says, "We are perfect and we've arrived."
Exactly. Do what we say.
Yes.
So tell us about it. It's like, yeah, you do a lot of marriage counseling and coaching as well as other things like leadership and individual coaching. But as working together, like how long has it been that you've actually worked together side by side? Because I know you've always kind of done it, but for a period, Elizabeth, you're on staff in another church and all that stuff, but recently you've come together to work together like all the time. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I would say as far as the company goes that we own, Settled Co., we've been working together in that context for 5 months. Prior to that, we both were on staff at the same church. I left that church about a year and a half ago. She left 5 months ago. And we were working in the same campus, so the same building. We weren't like side by side necessarily, but as far as being like we are literally side by side working together, probably for the last 5 months, I would say it's been that long.
Well, and it was 20 years ago we started on a church staff together,
We did.
and we worked very closely on that staff, and it was terrible. It did not go well.
And she's laughing, honey.
Yeah.
Well,
I think the word is nightmare. It was a nightmare.
So the fact that we can work together successfully at this point is really stunning. So yeah, needed to be recorded. I'm glad you've got it.
So what happened back then that it was so terrible? And
Well, there's this thing called a power struggle, and so we were in a tug of war and in competition with each other, and we both come to the table with very strong personalities and strong leadership gifts, and it took us a minute to realize that this doesn't work in a marriage, but this does. When you join forces together and move together, that you can get a lot more done. And so it took healing and just some counsel to get us to not demonize the other's power and strength, but to celebrate it and then partner with it towards the common goal.
Yeah. Really a decade probably of personal work before we felt like we were complementing one another and not competing.
So I noticed you guys do DISC because we do that too with our clients. So DISC profiles. Jason, Elizabeth, what are they? What are your top two?
I'm an ID.
Okay.
CD.
A CD. Ooh, all right. So tell us about, because you you both have D's in it, so I can see right there. All right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So tell us, because a lot of our clients and a lot of our listeners, the ones that work together in business, they're both high achievers and they're both driven. And so let's dig a little bit more into that. And to your credit, sounds like you got help to be able to work through that. And there's so many couples that I've known that have tried to work together, but it failed, just kind of like what happened to you two. And they just haven't tried before. They said, okay, it's not in the cards for us to work together. But
Yeah.
clearly there is an answer. You just got to go find the solution, right? So talk to us a little bit more about that journey. You identified, hey, this isn't working. Sounds like you got some help and did some other things. Tell us a little about the journey and how you're able to be able to come alongside and work really well with each
Yeah,
other.
that's a great question. I think probably the best way to answer it, unless you have another option or idea, is like what God did in myself personally. Speaking for myself and the journey, like I didn't realize how much of a low self esteem I had when I came into the marriage. I mean, I had really low self esteem, and I didn't see that. I was pretty confident before I got married, and then as you guys know, whenever you get married, your spouse becomes a mirror, and you kind of see yourself in the other. And I didn't like what I saw, and I blamed her for it. And so there was this struggle that I was working through, and I'm like, when she would, you know, promoted, or when she would excel, or when she was up on stage doing anything, I had a hard time, not because I didn't think she was doing a good job. It wasn't me doing it. That was the problem. And so there was some pride, there was some low self-esteem, there were just some things that I needed to work through, because really in that season of our marriage, I didn't know who I was. And I had massive gaps in my identity. So that for me was a huge piece of it, is like I can work with her because I know who I am.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's
and
good.
I tended in that era to worship my work.
Mhm.
So my work was the most important thing, and I found great joy in my work. In fact, we're created really to worship by way of work. I think work can be an offering that we give to our community and to the world that brings so much good. So there's joy in it, but I started to look at the work as the source of my happiness, my affirmation. All my kudos were coming from the workplace. And so at home, when he was feeling jealous about my work and I was loyal to my work above him, I just became critical of him. Like, why can't you pull it together and just do the work? And so for me, the necessary change was in prioritizing our friendship.
Mhm.
And that came really by like revelation. I don't know that I came up with this as an idea so much as one day I was struck with the possibility that Jason is my friend and designed to be a partner for fun. It had just not occurred to me.
What'd you marry him for?
Great question, Robert. Why did you
Even
marry him?
work. Have I not made this clear? Yeah, I know. I just really thought, oh, maybe it's not about like. So when we first started to work together, that's where so much of the tension was. And so to me, setting aside the work and beginning to really focus on friendship and fun and being together because we fell in love for a reason,
Mhm.
that just took the pressure off and pulled him out of this space where I was judging him on a rubric that wasn't fair or
Mhm.
healthy for our
Yeah.
relationship. So in so many words, I'm saying the same thing he just did, which was I got to work on me,
Mhm.
and that becoming a better version of myself has helped us in our marriage, but then in our work together in our marriage. And I think a strong statement that we learned early on as we began healing was it takes two strong me's to make a healthy we, right? Like a healthy me's equal a healthy we in the marriage. And so, my natural instinct was to try to change him,
Mhm.
but it's me that I'm
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
really walk in self-control, and those kinds of things are powerful.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
was a
Yeah.
big shift.
Yeah, we can only control ourselves, right?
Mhm. Well,
Yeah.
well, and I think it was great that you guys realized, what about a friendship? Having fun, because so often as entrepreneurs, we
Mhm.
forget to have fun because when we're dating, at least for Robert and I, we're out having fun all the time and laughing and enjoying ourselves. We get married, have our business, and it's like, fun. Who's got time for that? I mean, we've even had couples say to us, "We forgot how to have fun," or "We
Yeah.
don't know how to have fun."
Yeah. One of the things to that end, Kay Lee, is that we do business meetings on a weekly basis, and we do date nights. There was a season where we were doing date nights, and date nights kind of evolved into business meetings.
Mhm.
And so our fun little date night out in Dallas became this like duty. And then we decided early on to have a separate business meeting on Mondays and date
Mhm.
nights on Fridays. So we can, and if we have any ideas or talks about business on a date night, it gets shelved until Monday.
So what time on Mondays is your meetings?
I think it's about usually 10 in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
So ours is at 3:30 on Mondays.
Yeah.
So see, great minds think alike, great couples think
There you
alike.
go. There you go.
So yeah, going back to, Jason, you said self-esteem. Elizabeth,
Mhm.
you're talking about, you're worshiping work. Work wasn't really worship; it was you're worshiping work. But really, I think the commonality is identity issues, right?
Mm.
There's
Correct.
identity issues. Um, and so, why do you think? Let's dig a little bit into that because that's so common. I mean, it happens with us too. The same thing. Until we got counseling and really understood our identity, that we weren't competing against each other.
Yeah.
Um, but it's so common, right?
Mhm.
That I mean, that's basically kind of the source of conflict in a sense, the core or the root issue is the identity issue. Why do you think that's such a why do you think that's so common? Why haven't people kind of figured that out?
Oh, that's the $1,000,000 question, Robert.
Maybe
We
that's why
had
you
that
got a
answered
job, right?
because that's right. Right. I think to answer the question, what's coming to mind for me is like what I would say is probably the number one lie in the Bible, which I know is a huge statement to make, but we see this lie presented to us in scripture in the Garden of Eden, and we see it again when Jesus Christ is tempted in the wilderness. And that is the if you are, then do narrative. And it's the if before the identity, and then having to prove yourself through activity. And the issue with that is we have too many people out with ifs in front of their identity, and they're trying to use activity to prove to a spouse or prove to a boss or prove to kids or prove to friends or to the world in general, to themselves, that I am somebody. So I'm going to actually do work to prove that I am somebody, when really the solution is remove the if. It's not a matter of if you are, then do. It's a you are, now do.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
good.
and discovering ourselves in the eyes of another is uncomfortable.
Hmm.
I think it confronts misconceptions that we have of ourselves, and that was what was happening to me in that shift. I was thinking of our work more of a work or excuse me, our marriage as a work partnership when it's really for fun and friendship. That was a huge shift in
Hmm.
thinking. And I think really the practice that we've had or I've engaged in is the like surrendering the outcome, surrendering Jason to whoever he chooses to be. Like I get to practice accepting him for who he is. And that's a whole different frequency to live. So surrendering that outcome. I mean, we were talking the other morning. Richard Rohr calls suffering any loss of control we experience as suffering. So when we experience a loss of control, control is often an illusion to begin with. But when we experience a loss of control, all of a sudden our health or our finances or a person doesn't do what we expect or want, we experience it as suffering. And so to release the outcome, to let Jason do whatever he wants that's not maybe aligned with what I would prefer expect, it sometimes hurts, the confronting who we really are, who the other is, but sort of surrendering to that and allowing each other to be who we are is kind of the beginning point of then what can become true love in compromise and cooperation. And so, yeah, I found that that's been a really important part of the work. It feels like giving up,
Hmm.
but a lot of
Yeah.
times I don't like to do it because it feels like giving up.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say too, sometimes it feels uncomfortable, especially at the beginning, like allowing Robert to regulate himself as opposed to me wanting to tell him what to do. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm like, Lord, I really want to say something. And he's like, no, let me deal with them or let me deal with you. And I'm like, but I could do it probably a better job. And he's like, no. And I'm like, oh. I actually have these arguments with the Lord, okay, guys? I know that
Yeah.
sounds crazy. And he's like,
Sometimes
just
I
let
can
me
hear
do
it
with
in the
it.
other room.
Funny, honey.
I
I'm
totally
like,
get it,
okay, Lord.
Kaylee. Totally get it.
Yeah.
And because that's challenging. Like when you're like, I remember when I first really understood empathy, empathizing with Kaylee, I was like, oh, that's actually pretty simple, but it felt like giving up or giving in.
Mhm.
When you're empathizing and saying, honey, I understand why what I said or did made you upset.
Mhm.
It was always so challenging for me to say something like that because I just felt I was admitting guilt,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
It's such a perfect example, like a practical example of what that, because it does feel like,
Yeah.
yeah, giving up or being
Yeah.
just
Mhm.
but it's accepting that she's telling the truth when she
Yeah.
says, "That hurt," or "I didn't
Yeah.
like that."
Yeah.
Mm.
So I remember the first time I practiced empathy like that, and she said, "Oh, thank you," and just kissed me and walked away. I was like,
On my merry way. I think he's a little disappointed.
that was too easy. I was like,
He's like,
I was
okay,
like,
what are you gonna do behind my back? Like,
yeah, exactly. I was waiting for the shoe to drop. I was like,
Yeah.
wait a
Yeah.
second, something's going on here.
he's like, no, that's gonna have
That's
people
awesome.
suspicious. You're like,
But yeah, I was like, really? That's it? I was like, wow, that's like
were
a
you
secret weapon.
disappointed?
Well, yeah, it was weird. It's like, I was like, wow, that's that easy? I was like, no, why did somebody tell me this sooner? They have, right? She has, and we had counseling and all that. They were telling me, but I was like, just didn't get it until you finally do it, and you're like,
Yeah.
Right.
oh, wow,
It's
Right.
okay,
counterintuitive.
It
It
really
really
is.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
One time, too, sometimes we have a little code word. Sometimes we get stuck in this what we call cycle of insanity. We're saying the same thing over and over to each other, and nothing's changing, right? And so one time I just asked her, "Okay, so what do you need from me?" And she
Mhm.
Great
said,
question.
"I
A
need
hug.
a hug." Again, this is another one of those things I thought she was setting me up.
Yeah.
So I gave her a hug, and then she said, "Thank you," and walked away.
On my merry way.
And I'm like,
So
what just happened here?"
So I relate to that, Robert, only because, to use like love language terminology, I'm affirmation and she's physical touch. And so like I can affirm the heck out of Elizabeth. And when she's down, I'm like, I have a laundry list of words like you're awesome, you're great. And I'm just like, I'm a machine gun of affirmation. And
Machine gun.
and she's just like, that's great, but can you just give me a hug? And I'm like, that's so much easier than having to have a list of words to say. Yes, I can hug you.
Because
Because
Jason was probably on ChatGPT creating a list
I
of
know,
affirmations.
100
Exactly. I'm
things.
like, let's go. Yeah.
And Robert's like, but honey, I've got 10 solutions for you.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have solutions all worked out, man. So let's go back to the fun thing because we started doing these fun events for married couples, married business owners back in May. Once a month, we started doing these fun events. We had a good dinner one time. We did movies on the beach, concerts in the park. We just did the boat parade, the Christmas boat parade,
Mhm.
whatever. Um,
We did chocolate
chocolate and coffee
and
pairing.
coffee pairing.
Yeah.
Fine.
Robert came up with that idea, Mr. Marketing on him.
Well, no, it's
Awesome.
actually it was another couple that they couldn't make one of the events, and they said, "Oh, we like chocolate and coffee."
One
I
like
said,
chocolate, one like coffee. And
so I
Robert's
said,
like,
"Well,
okay, we'll do
what
that.
if we did a pairing? What if we did a pairing?" I know I know a roaster in town.
Small business,
They introduced us to a chocolatier in town.
which is another
They make
small
their own
business.
chocolate, and so we just said, "Let's do a pairing event." So, anyways, that was
Perfect.
fun. How you know how does that's a missing gap in a
Yeah.
lot of couples, especially the more years in our relationship, right? It seems like the fun just starts to diminish, the intentional fun. So talk to us a little bit more about just the importance of fun, not just how it impacts the relationship, but even your performance in what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fun is fun. So that's the thing so we do like fun, and that's just something that we've worked towards because we both view fun differently.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is like I'm a little more outgoing and extroverted than she is, and so we've learned as to like what does it really mean to have fun and to express ourselves in fun ways, and so we do like going out on date nights and exploring the city, and we've our commonality is live music. So if we can find a spot where we have live music, we're really into bands in the Dallas area or just some that aren't. But if we can find live music someplace on a patio in
Mhm.
Dallas, then that's a bullseye that fits that's both of our fun buckets, and we like that kind of stuff. So and then just like silly things like bowling or playing darts or just things that just cause you to feel a little bit like a child again and laugh. We even will be at home sometimes and we'll just watch Netflix and do comedy and just really it's more of the laughter too because we live in, and you guys know this to be true, but with all the counseling and the consulting, it can be heavy, these topics, and so to laugh. So
Mhm.
I think to like not take fun and make it too complicated, but to simplify fun and to just finding space in your marriage to laugh at
Mhm.
home or out, but to really engage that joy of the Lord is our strength reality and laugh. Not at each other, but just to, to laugh to laugh with each other. To laugh with each other. Yes.
Oh, my husband
sometimes,
laughs at me all the time.
sometimes she
It's
does
like
something that's pretty funny.
daily.
Sometimes she does something that's pretty funny.
Honey,
That's
you
true.
laugh at me
That's true.
daily.
Well, 'cause
See, here he goes.
she makes up words sometimes, and I'm like, "What are you saying right now?" so, so she does make me laugh. That's cute. Um, so what are some of the
But I have another question
okay,
around
go ahead.
that. Sorry, honey. So, what does having fun and the chemicals and the endorphins, what all does that do for you as a couple and for you emotionally?
Well, I just want to speak to the fun thing a little bit. Like this is a struggle for me in particular. So like we haven't this was why it was such a shift for me in my way of thinking cuz having fun and being friendship minded is like not the this is just not my default. So so I have had to really like stay focused on this as a priority because I drift right back into work and agendas and getting stuff done, or I tend to prefer isolated activities. Like I'm a reader, I prefer to go on a walk alone. I just don't I don't I don't love crowds and things like that. So it's a stretch for me still, and yet when we can laugh and we can really share a moment together, it is bonding. Like, if
Mhm.
there's a chemical, I don't know what it's called, but it produces
Sure.
bonding.
Yeah.
And so
The glue.
that that is where,
Yeah.
um like, it's essential. But for me, especially in the business in the last 5 years, coming alongside Jason full time in entrepreneur life, which I say I'm in trust training because this is new. I've worked within somebody else's space for all of my professional life. And now here we are cultivating a space here, which I have been doing since the founding of Settled Co. But for the last 5 years, depending on it for both of our income, it fear will suck the fun right out of things.
Mhm.
So I really like a struggle when we are thin on finances or it's still an insecure feeling because this is new for us in business. Like fun is the first thing for me that goes. Like we don't have a line item for fun. It's too expensive.
Fun is
Fun is
expensive.
expensive.
But even expense has a line item.
Yeah. Yeah.
that one just doesn't make the cut.
So that's been a real challenge for us. It's been a challenge for me. And it's really important that we come back to those spaces and like give each other some breathing room. He's been great about giving me space to like acclimate to this new world. Because without fun, the
Mhm.
pressure builds
Oh
and
yeah.
it
Mhm.
does shut me down. That's
Yeah.
what fear will do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been a real
Yeah.
practice.
True.
Yeah, and I'm
True CD.
reminded, and yeah, and I'm also reminded that Brene Brown says that joy is one of the most vulnerable emotions for us to express,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and we have so much joy when we have fun, and so it that I feel too can be a challenge because being joyful in front of each other is the most vulnerable thing that we probably can do with each other emotionally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes I don't wanna give him the benefit of my laughter. Like, if I
She just holds it from you.
yeah, if I'm
You ration,
feeling, like,
so you like
dull and
ration your
boring,
laugh. It's like,
I'm just gonna hold back. Yeah, I don't wanna it's vulnerable, and I
Sure.
can feel it. I can feel it when I put up a wall and I'm resistant, and I'm like, "No, I'm not sharing that."
Those
Yeah.
are your true CD, like task oriented. They're
Mhm.
going.
Yeah, yeah. I will say we have found, and this is good practical advice for you guys, for your listeners, but it's really hard to be mad while you're hopping.
Oh, that is true.
So
Hopping?
if you get
Hopping.
really angry and
Hopping.
you start just like at a hop,
Yeah.
so as you begin to hop, it's hard to stay mad when you're hopping. So that's fun, and then you begin laughing, and it breaks the moment.
Okay,
All right,
Jason, you're
Hoppy.
gonna have to do a whole video on this, you
Hoppy.
two. One's mad and
that's
the
a
other one's
TikTok.
hopping, and yeah.
Yeah,
TikTok
just
video right
hopping.
there. Hopping. All right. That's a takeaway. Okay, that's the takeaway. I was going to ask, what is a daily discipline?
Now next time I see you hopping, I'll know why.
Hey, Hoppy, hop with me, honey. Come on.
That's right.
That's good. That'll be a thing. That's the thing. Awesome. Tell us a little bit about your business, because it's very multidimensional. Counseling, coaching, consulting. So tell us a little bit about Settled Co.
Yeah, we say that so settled is the message and co is the mechanism. So settled our message and co through counseling, consulting, and courses and coaching. So we do things like biblical counseling, which we do in person or via Zoom. We consult churches in the way of freedom, inner healing ministry, pastoral care, and leadership. And then we have freedom courses that we have written up for small groups in churches that want to take this message into a community, like a small group type setting.
And the message of settled identity, really, that a confident person is a settled person, one whose inner world is, in not just in order, but that there's a real genuine exploration and curiosity of our inner world. There's a phrase, name it and tame it. And I think that there's often just some beasts roaming around in this inner territory. And so our work with biblical counseling is often to help people to pay attention, to notice with curiosity what's going on inside, name those things in order to have a sense of personal dominion, explore that space, the self that we are, and live in cooperation with one another. So like Jason said, in lots of different ways, we help people with that message of settled identity.
That's great. Awesome.
Yeah.
So I know you have a free gift, Reclaim What's Real, the free 5-day devotional. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that's everything I just mentioned about occupying your true self and recognizing what's happening inside, discerning lie from truth, how to engage with the truth to see real transformation in our inner world, which then translates into change in our relationships and environments. All of that is a part of the 5-day journey. It's a really important and fundamental aspect of the Occupy Your True Self work that we do with people in all those different contexts. So yeah, I would say if you're interested, you can grab a copy of that and work through kind of like a little personal retreat, a 5-day journey to occupy your true self, to reclaim what's real.
That's right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we got the link right in our show notes. And we also have settledco.com as a way to get a hold of you or just to see more of your work. But anyway, any other place that how they can contact you or follow you?
Yeah, social media, Facebook or Instagram, settled.co is our handle. So they can follow us there for more content. And then we also have a podcast as well on any of the platforms. It's Settled, SETTLED, and picture of us sitting on a couch. And so we just launched our 12th episode this past week. So we are excited about that. Yeah.
Awesome.
Congratulations.
Awesome. And
Yeah,
for
thank
those
you.
that are listening and can't see you, you're perfectly matching in color coordinating.
We are color coordinating. How cute are we?
Hey,
I know.
as are you.
Right.
Well done.
As are we, and definitely not by design. It just
Yeah,
kind of
no,
happens. I do think she sees what I'm wearing, and then she goes gets dressed. No, just kidding. Sometimes we just show. We have a running joke.
Okay, so Robert's from Hawaii. And in Hawaii, they have muumuus, which is like a big dress. And then they have matching shirts for the men. So the joke is I say to Robert, honey, let's be matchy-matchy. I can get the muumuu and you can get the shirt. And he's like, no, absolutely no. No way. And then sometimes you'll see in the grocery store, more mature people, they'll be wearing matchy jackets. And I'll be like, honey, let's do that. And he's like, absolutely no. He cringes. He gets all like worked up.
And so we live in a condo. And so sometimes when we get in the elevator to go down to the garage, she always waits till we get into the elevator. And when the door shuts, then she'll go, hey, we match.
In case you didn't notice.
So in case
They're like,
it's too late to go change.
Exactly. It's a long time.
Well played, Kay Lee. Well played.
She always waits, and then she goes like this. She just looks at me and smiles. And I'm like, what? She goes, we match. I go, oh. So Jason, Elizabeth, any last parting words? Whether it's a daily discipline or something that can help our audience, our thriving entrepreneurs, just work better together?
I think the thing that's on my heart, in light of the topic of fun, real quick, is the scripture that's in 1 Corinthians 13, it's in that 4 to 8, verse where it talks about love. Love is, and it says, love does not keep record of wrong, but love rejoices in the truth. And I would just encourage couples to not fixate on what's wrong with the other, but to rejoice in the truth about who they are as a person. And that's going to put wind in your sails.
Oh, well said. Well said. Elizabeth,
I,
anything to add?
I agree. Well done.
Awesome. Well said. Well, Jason and Elizabeth, thank you so much for showing up today. It was a
You
pleasure.
guys so much.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, which is important. And so for you listening, I know it's touched your heart. So please share this with another married entrepreneur who needs to hear this, because we can't have enough fun.
That's right.
Until next week, God bless. Thank you for listening to the Thriving in Tandem podcast. Please visit our website, marriedentrepreneur.co, for a variety of free resources to help your marriage and business succeed.
And feel free to leave us a review and share this episode with another married entrepreneur. That would mean so much to us.
See you next week.